Welcome back to the Civilizational Bridge. When I started this endeavor, I had promised that I would look for clues and do some social commentary. We do know the names of the places Rama went to, and we have the names of those places on the map too, but we don't know if they are the same. Sometimes people move from one place to the other because of drought or something and rename the new place with the name they had lived in earlier. For example, here is a map. But before we take the map seriously, we have to go deeper into Ramayana to find these places and make sense out of them, and then evolve also some social commentary of the times and how it applies to the present day. We are not there yet. Just so you know, this is a lot of hard work to make sure the pronunciation is as perfect as possible and as crystal clear as possible. I am reading, learning, finding the proper explanations and explaining while you are hearing it. I've been a project and program manager in information technology for the last 15 years in California. This is not my profession, but a passion. Some people think this generation is just a TikTok generation. I beg to differ. This is also a think and talk generation. In fact, when I see most of my subscribers, they are 24 to 35. Or 17 to 24. That tells me many have an interest in understanding the minutiae. I'll be doing it like I'm peeling the layer of amla fruit. There was no onion obviously back then. Onions or tomatoes are not Indian until about 200 years ago. Anyway, you will understand the amla reference when we get there. So please bear with me. Also, there is a lot of repetition of summaries of the Ramayana story from different individuals. Another interesting thing you might be thinking is, Valmiki wrote it, but the Sarga seems like Valmiki is also a character in it. Narada is telling Valmiki the summary of Ramayana. I have some theories that my cousin Chaitanya had proposed. I argued at first, but now it makes sense. We'll talk about it later. This journey may sound daunting, but it will be exciting nevertheless. It is just the beginning. I am ready. Are you ready? So let us kick it off from where we left and let's complete the first sarga. Rama and Sugriva both shared their grief over their separation with their wives and promised each other that they would help rescue each other's wives. Rama performed a couple of superhuman feats to convince Sugriva that he can take down his brother Vali. Here are some of the verses and then I will explain the meaning. Tatah pritamanastena Vishwastasya mahakapihi Kishkindham Ramasahito Jagamacha guham tada Tato garjadharivaraha Sugrivo hemapingalaha Tena nadena mahata Nirjagama hariswaraha Anumanya tadataram Sugrivena samagataha Nijaghanacha tatrainam Sarenaikena raghavaha. Tataha, then, pritamanastena means he is satisfied. Vishwastasya, having gained a new sense of belief now that he saw the superhuman feats that Rama performed. Mahakapihi, greatest of the monkeys, there is no doubt. Kapi means a monkey. Kishkindham Ramasahito, he went to Kishkindha with Rama. Jagamacha went. Guham tada, to the cave. Tato, then. Garja, roar. Harivaraha, best among the monkeys. Sugriva, Hemapingalaha, he is a golden colored monkey. Tena nadena, then with that roar, Mahata Nirjagama Harishwaraha, that kind of got Vali out. Anumanya, Harishwaraha means Lord of the Monkeys. Anumanya tadataram, suspicious. Then Taram is the wife of Vali. Sugrivena samagataha, why did Sugriva come? She was suspicious, but Vali came out anyway. Nijaghanacha, he was killed. Tatrainam, him, Vali. Sare naikena raghavaha, one arrow. Raghava, Rama killed him. Rama killed Vali with one arrow. Sugriva went out there and he kind of, roared and had Vali come out, and Rama killed him. There is also more story behind it, but this is a summary. Remember that. Tata Sugriva Vachanat Hatva Valinamahave Sugriva Meva Tadrajye Raghavah Pratyapadayat Sacha Sarvan Samaniya Vanaran Vanararshabha Disah Prastapayamasa Didrukshur Janakatmajam Tato Grudhrasya Vachanat Sampater Hanuman Bali Shatayojana Vistirnam Puplube Lavanarnavam Tatah. Then Sugriva Vachanat, based on the promise made to Sugriva, Hatva killed Vali, Ahave in the battle, Sugriva Meva Tadrajye, Sugriva in that kingdom, Raghavaha, Rama, Pratyapadayat, installed him. So Rama installed Sugriva as the king after killing Vali. Sa cha Sarvan, everybody, Samaniya, they were all summoned for a gathering, Vanaran, all monkeys, Vanararshabha, even the best of the monkeys. I think they are referring to Hanuman here. Disaha Prasthapayamasa. Disaha means directions. Prasthapayamasa, dispatched everybody. Didrukshur, desirous of seeing. Janakatmajam, daughter of Janaka, who is Sita. So, desirous of seeing Sita, the Vanaras were dispatched to in different directions. Tataha, Grudrasya, another vulture. Vachanat Sampati. Sampati was a vulture. Based on the words Hanuman Bali. Hanuman learned of his strength. Shatayojana Vistirnam, 100 yojanas. Pupluve, flew over. Lavanarnavam, Lavana means salt. Lavanarnavam, ocean full of salt. So he flew over 100 yojanas. The yojana, I tried to research how much is a yojana. It seems like it depends. Some estimates say it's 10 miles, 15 kilometers or so. So we are talking about 1000 kilometers. So 1000 kilometers. So that's a good. That's something that we can use to understand where Lanka might be. Now the Puplube Lavanarnam. So he flew over the ocean of salt. Tatra Lankam Samasadya Purim Ravanapalitam Dadarsa Sitam Dhyayantim Asoka Vanikam Gatam Nivedayitva Bhignanam Pravrutincha Nivedyacha Samasvrasya cha Vaidehim Mardayamasa Toranam Panchasena Gragan Hatva Sapta Mantri Sutanapi Suramakshancha Nishipsha Grahanam Samupagamat. Tatra, then Lankam Samasadya, having arrived in Lanka, Purim, in the city, Ravana Palitam, ruled by Ravana, Dadarsya, saw Sitam, Sita, Dhyayantim, Asokavanikam Gatam, having gone to Asokavana, Dhyayantim, he saw Sita in meditation, contemplating, thinking, Nivedayitva, having given Bhignanam, a token ring, a token of recognition. It happens to be a signet ring of Rama. Pravrittincha, narrated the events. Nivedyacha, Pravrittincha, all the events. Nivedyacha, narrated. Samasvrasya, consoled. Cha Vaidehim, Vaidehi is Sita. Another name for Sita. So we've heard Maithilim, Vaidehim, because Janaka, the father of Sita, happened to be the king of Videha. So Vaidehi is a name. And then Mithila was the capital of Videha. So Maithilim is another name. Mardayamasa Toranam, destroyed. Toranam is the archway. So he destroyed the archway in Ashokavana. Panchasena Gragan, the commanders, 5 commanders, Hatva. Senagragan, the leads. Panchasenagragan means leads in the lead commanders, 5 of them were killed. Saptamantri Sutanapi, even 7 sons of ministers or counselors that the king has. Suram, a brave warrior. Akshancha, Akshaya, there is a son of Ravana called Akshaya Kumara. Akshancha, Nishipsha, killed. Grahanam, Samupagamat. Then Grahanam, he was caught. Hanuman got himself caught. Samupagamat, to be taken as a captive. Now what happened? He went to Lanka, saw Sita in Ashokavana. It's a garden. He saw Sita contemplating on Rama. He gave the signet ring of Rama, and then he consoled her that Rama will come, and then he destroyed the archway. Then he killed 5 commanders, 7 sons of ministers, and then also one of the sons of Ravana, Akshay Kumara as well. And then he got himself caught. Astrenon muktamatmanam jnatva paita mahadvarat marshayan rakshasan viro yantrinastan yadruchaya tato dagdva purim lankam rute sitancha maithilim ramaya priyamakyatum punarayan mahakapihi sodhigamya mahatmanam krutva ramam pradakshinam nyaveda yadame yatma drushta siteti tatvatah. Astrena. Okay, let me start with somebody who is seeking to learn Sanskrit or how to read a word. This actually Astrenon Muktamatmanam is composed of 3 words. That's why I'm trying to tell you this. Astrena, Astrena, Unmukta. So Astna, A and then U became O. Astrenon Mukta. Muktam Atmanam. Ma A Atmanam. Muktam Atmanam. So two A became A. So 2 sandhis are there, combining 3 words into one. And that's the challenge of reading Sanskrit. You got to know when to break it and how to break it to be able to read it. Anyway, Astrena, weapon. Astra is a power, or it's a weapon. Unmukta, released. Atmanam, he released himself. Jnatva, with the knowledge. Paitamahan, Brahma, Varat, boon. So he got to know that he got a boon from Brahma, and he got himself released with that power. Marshayan Rakshasan Viro, Yantrinaha. So they were all, he was tied up by the Rakshasas or the demons, and Yadruchaya, casually he was able to get off the ropes. Tataha, then Dagdva, burned. Purim Lankam, the city of Lanka. Rute Sitancha Maithilim, except for where Sita was. Ashokavana, the garden. Ramaya Priyam Akyatum, to Rama Priyam, good news. Akyatum, deliver. Punarayan Mahakapi, came back, the great monkey. So Saha Adhigamya, he came back. Mahatmanam, courageously. Krutva, courageous person. Krutva Ramam Pradakshinam, circumambulated Rama. Pradakshinam means circumambulation. It's a common practice in Indian way to respect people. Nyavedayat, revealed, narrated, ameyatma, with all his intellect, drushta, siteti tatvataha, whatever he saw with what was happening with Sita, tatvataha, truthfully, whatever events happened, he narrated them truthfully. Tatas sugriva sahito gatva tiram mahodadhehe samudram kshobhayamasa शरैरादित्य सन्निभैः दर्शयामास चात्मानं समुद्रस्सरितां पतिः समुद्रवचनाच्चैव नलं सेतुमकारयत् तेन गत्वा पुरीं लङ्कां हत्वा रावणमाहवे रामः सीतामनुप्राप्य परां व्रीडामुपागमत् ततः then Sugriva Sahito, with Sugriva, Gatva Tiram, they went to the ocean beach or the banks of the ocean. Mahodadhehe means the ocean. Samudram Kshobhayamasa, it's as if the ocean was agitated. Sarair Aditya Sannibhaihi, it's as if you are closer to the sun. It was so hot, it was like that, it was so agitated. Darsayamasa, he presented himself, Atmascha Atmanam, he presented himself, who? Samudra, ocean, Saritam Patihi, Sarita, rivers, Patihi, husband, lord of the rivers, Samudra Vachanachaiva, based on the words of the ocean, ocean god, Nalam Setu Makarayat, Nala started to build a bridge. Tena Gatva, then Gatva Purim Lankam, went to Lanka, crossed the bridge. Hatva Ravanam Ahave, in the battle killed Ravana. Ramaha Sita Manuprapya, Rama and Sita got together. Param Vrida Mupagamat. Soon Param, great embarrassment was experienced by Sita. Tam uvacha tato Ramaha parusham janasamsadi amrushyamana sa Sita vivesa jvalanam sati tatogni Sitam jnatva vigata kalmasham babhau Ramas samprahrustaha pujitas sarvadaivataihi karmana tena mahata त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं सदेवर्षि गणं तृष्ठं राघवस्य महात्मनः तामुवाच ततो Rama. Words were spoken by Rama. Parusham, harsh. Janasamsadi, in front of an audience. Amrushyamana sa Sita, unable to bear those words, Sita, Vivesa Jvalanam Sati, entered the fire. Tatogni Vachanat Sitam. Then fire god spoke about Sita. Vigata Kalmasham means she is sinless. The background was that although Rama rescued Sita, his wife, she was in the custody of another individual. He was getting embarrassed and talked in a harsh tone. Sita could not take it and she decided to self-sacrifice herself to the sacrificial fire. Entering the fire is considered a supreme self-sacrifice. This is a question of dharma, and this is the beauty of Indian civilization. We can debate whether Rama or Sita were doing the right thing or not. They can be gods, but are they following the dharma? Dharma is essentially what is the right thing to do given a circumstance or situation. Why didn't Rama just ask her and trust her words? It also begs the question, why didn't Rama also enter the fire? Because presumably he was outside and away from his wife. Was there lack of trust? Let me give you my interpretation of this. My feeling is that Rama may have been following his dharma as a king more than his dharma as a husband. King's dharma is to everyone, and your personal life doesn't matter in the scheme of things. It is unfortunate though. He could have stopped her. I have to obviously continue to the later parts of Ramayana to learn if he did anything to stop her. Also, Sita could not just give him a curt reply and take it in her stride. She had to resort to the extreme step. I guess she was also doing her dharma by showing this act of supreme sacrifice. but that was a different time. In any case, this is different from the evil sati practice that was followed in some parts of the country for a time. I also don't think this practice, the sati practice, the evil sati practice was followed for a long time either, nor was it widespread. There would have been conscientious people objecting to it if this was followed as a general practice everywhere in the country. The scholars, whether they are Muslim scholars, Sufi scholars, Hindu scholars, they would have been up in arms if this was happening everywhere. We have hundreds and thousands of books written, and it does not find very many mentions of such a case. In any case, Sita did this thing on her own. No one threw her into the fire. Also, the fire god came out in the nick of time to gift wrap his delivery. So, no harm done. But we have to remember the lessons in history. When evil individuals take things out of context and use it to their advantage, dharma in every situation needs to be debated. There must be a healthy debate. It remains true whether it was at that time or this time. Okay, going to the next verse. Babhau Rama Samprahrushtaha. Shining Rama was happy. Pujitas Sarva Daivataihi. All the gods worshipped him. Karmanatena Mahata. This great act, the act of killing Ravana. Trilokyam Sa Characharam. Trilokyam in all the three worlds, heavens, earth and the nether world. Sacharacharam, animate and inanimate. Sadevarshi Ganam. All the, even the gods and the sages, Trushtam, Raghavasya. And they were all happy and they praised him, Mahatmanam. They praised him as a courageous person. Abhishishya cha Lankayam Rakshasendram Vibhishanam Krutakrutya Ramo Vijvaraha Pramumodaha Devatabhyo Varam Prapya Samuthapya cha Vanaran Ayodhyam Prasthito Ramaha Pushpakena Suhrudvrutaha Bharadvajasramam Gatva Rama Satya Parakramaha Bharatasyantikam Ramo Hanumantam Vyasarjayata. Abhishishya, he was installed. Cha Lankayam, in Lanka, Rakshasendram, the king of the Rakshasas or the king of the demons. Vibhishanam, the younger brother Vibhishana of Ravana was installed as the king. Krutakrutya, being involved. Ramo Vijvaraha. Now that the act has been completed, Ramo Vijvaraha, he has no worries anymore, and Pramumodaha, he was rejoiced. Devatabhyo, from the Devatas, Varam Prapya, he got boons. Samuthapya cha, they were revived. The Vanaras who were killed in the battle, they were revived. Ayodhyam Prasthito, he headed out to Ayodhya. Ramaha Pushpakena Suhrudvrutaha, along with his accomplices, he left in the Pushpaka plain. Bharadvajas, Pushpaka was a plain of Ravana, so he left in that. Bharadvajasramam Gatva, he went to the hermitage of Bharadvaja. Rama Satya Parakramaha, Rama, Bharatas Yantikam, to Bharata, to go in the presence of Bharata, Ramau Hanumantam Visarjayata. Rama sent Hanuman as the messenger. Punarakhyayikam Jalpan Sugriva Sahitascha Saha Pushpakam Tat Samaruhya Nandigramam Yayau Tada Nandigrame Jatam Hitva Bhratrubhis Sahito Nagha Rama Sitam Nuprapya Rajam Punaravatpavan Prahrushta Mudito Lokasthushtaha Pushtaha Sudharmikaha Niramayo Hyarogascha Durbhiksha Bhayavarjitaha. Punarakhyaikam, Punaha, again recollecting the events, Akhyaikam, Jalpan, in a conversation. Sugriva Sahitascha Saha, along with Sugriva and others. Pushpakam Tat Samaruhya, in the Pushpaka vehicle. Nandigrame Yayautada, they headed to Nandigrama. Nandigrame Jatam Hitva, in Nandigrama, Jatam shed the matted locks, and he got a haircut. Bhratrubhis sahito nagaha, he joined forces with his brothers. Rama Sita Manuprapya, Rama and Sita having regained Sita, Rajyam Punaravatpavan, regained the kingdom. Prahrushta Mudito Lokaha, the entire world was rejoiced. Mudito, Prahrushta, happy. Tushtaha, content in what they had. Pushtaha, they were well fed, and they gained strength. Sudharmikaha, righteous. Niramayaha, they didn't have any sufferings. Arogascha, no disease. Durbhiksha bhayavarjitaha, no fear of famine. Na putra maranam kinchit drakshayanti purushaha kvachit naryascha vidhavan nityam bhavishyanti pativrataha na chagnijam bhayam kinchinnapsu majjanti jantavaha na vatajam bhayam किंचिन्नापि ज्वरकृतं तथा न चापि क्षुद्भयं तत्र न तस्करभयं तथा नगराणि च राष्ट्राणि धनधान्ययुतानि च नित्यं प्रमुदिताः सर्वे यथा कृतयुगे तथा न पुत्रमरणं किंचित् द्रक्षयन्ति, nowhere to be seen, पुरुषाः, men, क्वचित्, anywhere, न पुत्रमरणं, losing their sons. So you could not see men anywhere who lost their sons. Naryascha vidhava nityam, there were no women who lost their husbands. Bhavishyanti, because that was a time, there were wars, so that was a constant fear. Bhavishyanti pativrataha, always devoted to their husbands. Okay, I wish there was the additional sentence of men who were devoted to the husbands. I guess Rama is talking on behalf of everybody else, that you need to be devoted to your wife. Nacha Agni, Nacha Agnijam Bhayam, no fear of fire. Kinchinna Apsu, water. Majjanti Jantavaha, drowning. Creatures were not afraid. There was no fear of fire. There is no fear of drowning for creatures. Na vatajam bhayam, not even for wind. Kinchinnapi jvarakrutam tatha, not even of disease, not even a little. Na chapi kshudbhayam, no fear of hunger. Tatra na taskara bhayam tatha, no fear of thieves. Nagarani cha rashtrani, in cities as well as villages. Dhana dhanya yutani cha, wealth and food was plentiful. Now, take a look at this sentence and actually wonder about what are all the things that were important at the time, right? The fear of fire, water, wind, disease, famine, thieves. Now, the next sentence is interesting. Nagarani cha rashtrani. So, there is a difference apparently between cities and villages as well. So, that is an important distinction. The interesting thing is we haven't found cities or villages that are from the Ramayana period or when Ramayana was written. So, it will be very important to figure out, because there is this concept obviously that there are something called cities, some things called villages. Now, dhana, dhanya, yutanicha. So, dhana, wealth, importance of wealth, dhana, dhanya, prosperity, food, plentiful food. These are important things then, they are important things now. We have to understand, when my countrymen, many of the people say that wealth is not important. No, it is very important. Wealth keeps you powerful. Wealth keeps people safe. Prosperity keeps people happy. Nityam pramudita. You cannot have happiness by just forsaking everything. That is not the purpose of life. Yatha kruta yuge tatha. Being righteous. Through and through. You have the wealth. Just because you have wealth doesn't mean that you are not righteous. You can be righteous even with all the wealth and prosperity. Aswamedha satairištva tatha bahu suvarnakaihi gavam kotyayutam datva brahmalokam prayasyati asankhyeyam dhanam datva brahmanebhyo mahayasah rajavamsyan satagunan स्थापयिष्यति राघवः चातुर्वर्ण्यञ्च लोकेऽस्मिन् स्वे स्वे धर्मे नियोक्ष्यति दशवर्षसहस्राणि दशवर्षशतानि च रामो राज्यमुपासित्वा ब्रह्मलोकं प्रयास्यति अश्वमेधशतैरिष्ट्वा having performed 100 Ashwamedha prayers. It was a practice where one who desires to be an emperor allows a horse to go scot-free. If the kingdom in which it goes into is a friendly kingdom, they would allow the horse to pass through. They become a satrap. A hostile kingdom would capture it and would fight with the emperor instead. This was a way for emperors to consolidate power, and it was considered a noble way to do it. Going back to the verses, tatha and bahu suvarnakaihi, abundant gold, gavam donated, kotyayutam 10 million, gavam cows, kotyayutam 10 million, datva donate, brahmalokam prayasyati. Essentially he will then pass his earthly life after he does all that. Asankheyam dhanam datva, donating after donating immeasurable wealth. Brahmanebhyo mahayasaha, to the educated and learned people of great fame. Rajavamsyan satagunan, he established 100 or so royal dynasties or political classes. Who? Raghava, Rama. Chaturvarnyancha lokesmin, and in this world the fourfold social order. What was the social order? Learned and educated class, commonly known as Brahmins. If you are learned and educated, you are a Brahmin. It is a social class, not a class that you are born into. Political or warrior class or Kshatriyas. Traders or businessman class or Vaisyas. Service or workers class, Sudras. There was a lot of mobility. Unfortunately, there was a lot of mobility initially and for thousands of years. But unfortunately, when poverty strikes, internal strife begins. Certain classes in certain places have taken advantage of the situation in the last 500 years, resulting in today's caste system. But even now, you have 4 social classes. Imagine that. You have an educated class, IT and engineering sectors, you have military, traders, and you have service sectors. Not all the people in the society can be in the IT or engineering sector. A balance is absolutely essential. These were primarily economic classes. Those 4 classes that I talked about were primarily economic classes with scope for mobility. One common example is Valmiki, who wrote this Ramayana, was apparently not born in a Brahmin or from an educated household. He was supposed to be a robber before some transformation happened to make him into a great ascetic. I, however, though, could not find specific verses attesting to that version, but it is part of the popular culture. The author of Mahabharata, Vedavyasa, was said to be born in a mixed varna. So, if there was no mobility, they would have silenced the names and probably used different names instead, right? I found this verse, I could not attribute it or find the source of it. You guys can help me out, but this is on Valmiki. Shudrasya cha samajasya sarve cha sahana garaihi tam ahuhu Valmikim nama ratna deepa samaprabham. Belonging to the lowest social class, associated with the town folk, he was called Valmiki, who shone like a radiant gem. So let's go back to the verses now that we talked about initially. Sve sve dharma niyokshati. someone, so Rama assigned everyone their respective duties. He created these 100 different dynasties, so he gave them the respective duties. How many years did he rule? Dasya Varsha Sahasrani, 10,000 years, Dasya Varsha Satanicha, and 100 years. Ramo Rajyam Upasitva, having ruled this kingdom, Brahmalokam Prayasati, he will attain, or he will leave the earthly life and attain the abode of Brahma. Idam pavitram papagnam punyam vedaischa sammitam yah patet ramacharitam sarva papaihi pramuchyate etadakhyanam patan ramayanam narah saputra pautra saganah pretya swarge mahiyate. Essentially, both the verses here are saying the story of Rama is sacred and holy. It destroys sins and is equal to the Vedas, the embodiments of our ancient knowledge. Whoever learns it will be freed from all sins. Now the word here is patet. It could mean studying, reciting and learning. For me, understanding is more important as to how I could potentially apply the knowledge of dharma in my life through Ramayana. Pathan dvijo vagrishabhatvamiyat syat kshatriyo bhumi patitvamiyat vanikjanah panya phalatvamiyat janascha shudropi mahatvamiyat. If you learn this Ramayana, if you are in the education sector, you will be a proficient scholar. If you are in the political field, you will be rewarded with power over land or people. If you are in the trading field, you will be rewarded with appropriate fruits. Even if you are in the service sector, you will be rewarded with greatness. So, everybody will get some kind of a benefit from learning and understanding Ramayana. Ityarshe Srimad Ramayane Valmikiya Adikavye Balakande Pradama Sarga. So thus ends the first Sarga of Balakanda of Ramayana, which has the synopsis of the epic composed by sage Valmiki. Also this is called the Adikavya, the first poem that was ever written is supposed to be Ramayana. Thank you viewers for staying with me. I really appreciate you guys liking, sharing and subscribing my videos. This is your host Hemant. Thank you again.